And what did you think about the support that you got through the campaign for the petition?
I was absolutely overwhelmed. I just couldn't believe it. I'd put it up in October, and I'd only put it on Facebook, and it didn't really get the publicity, and I thought, well, perhaps it's too near. You know, the last e-petition for the government, documents, and it was Scouser Tommy, actually, who support my campaign, that said at the Stoke match, I met them outside the Stoke match, and they said, we'll push this. So within a week, it was just amazing the way it went down. And on the Wednesday night, I couldn't believe it. I didn't think we'd do it, because I was worried about when the petition would come down, but we did it, and it carried on all that day to reach the 118,000. Kenny Dalglish and Kelly Cates really pushed it. She really pushed it, Kelly Cates. It's overwhelming that the support's out there. That people sometimes must get fed up with Hillsborough. I think that the awareness now, they're realising why we won't go away. It's such a big cover up, and we want the truth. To be able to move on, really, and put our kids to rest.
So obviously you will keep fighting to get the truth.
Yes, I'm right. I know I'm right. I've worked over the years with so many barristers and QCs. By law, Kevin should have had a new inquest when I first submitted in 1991. Since then I've submitted 3. Altogether I've submitted 3. And every time he comes back, whichever Attorney General's in place at the time comes back, not in the interest of justice. But under Section 13 of the Coroner's Act, I'm giving them all the evidence.
And what's exactly in this cupboard here?
And these are all the documents that all the documents on Kevin, autopsy reports, medical reports. It doesn't look in a very good order, but I know, what sort of order it's in. This is what I work in. I've started putting stuff in files, and this stuff is judicial review, and this stuff is other old stuff that I'm not using at the moment. But this is the main stuff I'm working on. And there's the two drawers are full to the top with documents as well. My desk is covered in documents. But I have a rough idea. I do my own filing, so I know what's. Well, I mean, if I look for a document, I might have to go through that batch or that batch, but I usually find it in the end. This is my blog. This is explaining, because there's so much happened in Kevin's case. It's quite complicated. And this is a photograph. This is obviously Kevin. And I tracked down most of the carriers that day. Stevie Hart, Tony O'Keefe. I spoke to that guy. He had broken ribs, and he didn't. He can't remember what Kevin looked like or anything, but these two did. Now, PC Craigill wrote out a statement to say that he'd seen himself on photographs carrying Kevin, and then he retracted to say he's mistaken. He didn't carry Kevin, and I didn't have this photograph for years. And I got this photograph off the police just after the scrutiny, Lord Justice scrutiny. And there's PC Craigill carrying Kevin. This is timed at 3:37. Obviously that's poor Kevin there, but PC Bruder and the Liverpool fan Johnny Prescott. PC Bruder made his statement out in a week of the disaster. He actually found a pulse in Kevin, and as you can see, he worked so hard. It was Mr. Bruder that actually told me about this ambulance when I met him in Oak Street Police Station, because he was a Liverpool police officer off duty at the time of Hillsborough, and he was so adamant about the ambulance that passed, and he did say to me that it looked as if it wouldn't stop. It looked as if it had orders to go straight to Leppings Lane. Well then, I was watching the videos, when I plucked up the courage to see the videos, and we actually found the ambulance coming on at 3:30. Well, it came on the ground at 3:35, but it came round that corner at 3:37, exactly what Mr. Buda told me. And then when Roger Cook ran my case, Roger found Tony Edwards, the assistant to the driver, and he took part in the Cook report, and that's Tony was able to tell us then He had orders to go straight to Lepping Lane, as there were fatalities, but he was able to tell us that the police had cordoned him off, and that's how we found out that they cordoned off, the 44 ambulances, because Tony actually mowed through the cordon to get to, he was told to get to Lepping Lane as those fatalities. And Tony did think that the rest of the ambulances were going to follow him, but they didn't. He was left there sort of on his own. And then Tony's never been called to any inquiry. Lord Justice Taylor doesn't know there was a third ambulance on the ground. He was never called to any of these inquiries, any inquests. But if Tony had been called, he would have been able to tell inquest jurors that people were alive and were dying after that 3:15 cut-off point. Again, like Kevin, the 3:15 cut-off point should never ever have been imposed, but because it's protected the, it's protected the South Yorkshire Police through their lack of care. Because if the jury had known that ambulances were cordoned off, they sent the fire engines away. These kids like Kevin and others that could have been saved died anyway because there was no care for them. And I can't accept either an accidental death verdict. Lord Taylor blamed the police, but the inquests, because of the cut-off point, secured an accidental death verdict, which left the police off the hook. But I say Kevin died through lack of care, and probably how many more.